statue of Gouverneur K. Warren. I'm panning and looking to the north, and you can see the Pennsylvania Monument in the distance, Cemetery Ridge. Panning back around the very distant tree line, very distant tree line. Behind the red barns is Seminary Ridge, where the Confederates were deployed. And as we go around, just under the barns in the picture, there is the wheat field. The first group of woods there is the Rose Woods. The peach orchard is just on the other side of like the second tree line. A little difficult to see with all the foliage. Which is where Dan Sickles marched his troops from somewhere down in this area without orders over to the peach orchard. The distance of about a mile is what I've been told, or what I've read, excuse me. And threw everything into chaos up here. As I pan around more in the distant, or into towards the west and the southwest, you're going to see the triangular field, which I was just down at close up. The ridge here is called Hawks Ridge, where Union artillery guns were placed. Some of them were eventually captured as the Confederates attacked across these fields. And of course, that's the famous Devil's Den down there with all the rocks and the cars parked there. The Confederates actually launched their attack on the Union left wing, or left flank, from basically that tree line. The 1st Division to go in was General John Bell Hood's. There is a farm, it's just out of view right over there, the Bushman farm. He was wounded about the time the battle commenced, or the attack commenced. He would not lose the arm, but he would lose the use of his left arm, but he had to be carried from the field, and it really hurt the Confederate attack and threw it into more chaos. The terrain features broke their formation up, and they split with 2 or 3 regiments, the Texas regiments going right and attacking into the triangular, or excuse me, a bit to their left, our right. And a couple of regiments went to their right, our left, and that was the famous 15th Alabama, led by William C. Oates, attacked, or excuse me, they basically came over Little Round Top, or Big Round Top. I'm going to get it right in a minute. Big Round Top, which we're looking at here, they came over and through Big Round Top, up the side, on the other side, over the top, down to this side, and then attacked up Little Round Top. There they would engage with Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain's 20th Maine and some other units as well on that side of Little Round Top. Amazing view up here. You can virtually see the entire battlefield. If the foliage was not so thick right now, you could see a lot more. Even though the foliage is pretty, it obscures a lot of the features of the battlefield. And of course, it wasn't near this dense or thick at the time of the battle. So what you can see is what you could see. Probably the most amazing story of fortune from this war was Warren came up here, and the only men on this summit on the second day early were signal corpsmen, and he sends a message to Meade that this is a strong position. He also probes the wood line over there with a few artillery shots just to see if he knows where the Confederates are, and apparently he could see the glint of their bayonets in the edge of the wood line and discovered that they were there and that they were likely to be attacking from that direction. And he sent word to Meade that we needed men on this hill. They didn't call it Little Round Top. A lot of them called it the Little Hill versus the Big Hill, which I just don't know why I jerked my camera. And the word trickled through the lines. A Harvard professor who was leading a regiment by the name of Strong Vincent received word that they needed men on Little Round Top, he took it upon himself, took his own initiative and countermarched his troops, which were marching in the other direction, turned them and quick marched them back here to get them up on Little Round Top. The key to that was he had beaten the Confederates by, I think they've estimated, 10 or 15 minutes to the top of Little Round Top. Had the Confederates beaten the Union to Little Round Top, it would have been a much different story, because on day 2 this was the objective of the Confederate Army, to capture this hill. They literally captured every inch of ground that they attacked, all the way from the tree lines. They took the Peach Orchard, the Triangular Field, Devil's Den, the Wheat Field, the Peach Orchard. I may have repeated myself. They took all that ground. The ultimate objective was to take this hill, and they could not. So basically the second day almost ended in a bloody stalemate. The bloodiest day of the 3-day battle was the second day. A terrible day of carnage. A lot of it triggered by Dan Sickles' movement of his corps out from his ordered position to what he thought was a better position, and that threw the entire battle plan into chaos, really from both sides. So Strong Vincent would attempt to rally his men during a push from the Confederates, and would be shot and killed here on Little Round Top.